Hello, delegators. Welcome to another episode with Titan Node, the number one place to delegate your stake. Today, we're going to be talking about updates in the Livepeer ecosystem. I haven't done one of these videos in a while. I've spent most of my time in the ecosystem building, planning, and doing interviews. So in this case, I'm going to be talking about just broad things about the ecosystem. If you haven't been following along, this will get you up to date with some of the biggest things that have happened probably in the last 6 months. So the three topics we're going to go through today are going to be governance, we're going to be talking about growth, and then obviously the Livepeer Titan Node pool. So let's start off with governance. There's been a lot of things happening in the Livepeer ecosystem around governance. The first one being a Livepeer treasury. So this is the pre-proposal put out by Doug, one of the co-founders of Livepeer, and it's simply this idea of a sustainable public goods funding mechanism and treasury built into the Livepeer protocol. So what does this mean? It means there's going to be kind of a tax on the Livepeer delegators and orchestrators. We're looking at taking a percentage of the inflation that is rewarded to delegators and orchestrators and participants in the ecosystem, taking something 5%, 10%, 15%, we're not quite sure yet, and redistributing that into a fully autonomous, decentralized treasury. The treasury would then send out this money to tier 2 treasuries to distribute how they like. So the way it works, basically, it's a way of incentivizing public goods, app builders, all types of tooling that the Livepeer ecosystem needs, because we're building apps and we have lots of overhead for building good tools that people can build on. And those aren't free, and they often don't benefit directly the person who created it. So let's say, for instance, you make a JavaScript plugin that quickly and easily enables live applications, live video, or even video on demand applications to use a JavaScript plugin or package right away. Well, the person that built that package might not be incentivized at all to do that. So we need to build some sort of public good way of giving those people's incentive to do that. So this is the proposal put forward by Doug. Lots and lots of discussion around it have been happening. So if you are interested in hopping in on this conversation, please visit the forum. We are looking to hopefully launch this year. And this is considered what's called a tier 1 treasury. So 100% fully decentralized, autonomous, on-chain voting, and very, very, very beneficial to the ecosystem. So that's the first thing about governance. The second is actually a pre-proposal that I set forward for a video builder DAO. So if you can imagine, you have the Livepeer treasury, which is a tier 1 DAO. It's actually gaining the Livepeer tokens directly from the protocol. And in order to move those tokens out of that treasury, we need to have voters that own LPT. They need to actually vote on it and send the LPT away. But what happens if you have someone who wants to build a small plugin, and maybe it only takes 5 hours of their time? Well, we're not going to get every whale holder, every token holder, thousands of people all to vote on a $1,000 grant that somebody wants to build some small application. That might be very valuable, but that's a lot of coordination for doing on-chain voting, right? So what we do is we have a tier 1 treasury, which is this first one, and then we have tier 2 DAOs below it. And a tier 2 DAO receives the funds from the Livepeer treasury, and it handles all the micromanaging of grants and proposals and all types of different mandates for how they distribute the funds individually. If you can imagine, this is extremely optimized, right? You can have a small set of 20 DAO members who are regularly doing grants or retroactive grant distributions, and they can really dive into the specifics. And even the tier 2 treasury in the DAO, it doesn't necessarily need to be on-chain. Obviously, the tier 1 has to be on-chain, but the tier 2 DAO can be something like, well, we've acquired $100,000 worth of tokens from the tier 1. The tier 2 DAO now can go, well, let's have everything off chain for simplicity, for specifics. We can iterate fast, and we can distribute these funds to small individuals across the world, right? So this is a pre-proposal for a video builder DAO. And just like in the name, a video builder DAO is people who are building applications on top of Livepeer, right? You're building apps, tools, community events, hackathons, marketing, all types of different tooling and apps that create demand for the Livepeer ecosystem. There's some other ideas for DAOs later on, but this is the first one that's come forward as the tier 2 DAO. So again, these two proposals work hand in hand. One is the tier 1 treasury, and the second is the first proposal for the tier 2 DAO. And there'll be many, many, many tier 2 DAOs that can request funding from the treasury. So if you can imagine, once a year or twice a year, the treasury can put out a vote to all the token holders saying, we're going to distribute $1 million worth of LPT to X, Y, and Z DAOs. And based on their history, they've done well or haven't done well, we can review them as a community. So the pre-proposal for this DAO, again, it's here. Objectives around it include rewarding builders for their past contributions in the decentralized Web3 ecosystem, right? So lots of information here, and so continuing on with that. That's about it for governance. The next topic I want to talk about is growth. So let's talk about growth in the Livepeer ecosystem. The first one is going to be this idea of liquid staking tokens. So Nico is a former core developer for Livepeer, and he is running a project called Tenderize. And Tenderize is all about liquid staked assets on the blockchain. And what's cool is they're building a program around liquid staked LPT. And the idea is, with that, let's define the problem. The problem is lots of LPT is currently locked up in staking. It takes 7 days to unbond. For those 7 days, you're unable to move, buy, sell crypto. In addition, while it's locked up in staking, you also you're taking away liquidity from liquidity providers and AMMs, which locks up the tokens and provides less liquidity to the market. This could be detrimental for price. It could be detrimental for people who are interested in buying and holding, because it could create small liquid situations which can have negative effects. So what he is proposing is this idea of a liquid staking token where you wrap the LPT, underlying asset that is staked, as like TLPT, so tenderized for T, and that TLPT can now be put into automated market makers, can be re-leveraged, sold, and provided liquidity into the market, which gives LPT a greater ability to handle more trading volume, be more dispersed, and still properly staked with the underlying protocol. So again, these are interesting growth metrics that are maturing in the ecosystem. We already know things like ETH and Lido and Rocket Pool and staked ETH and all these type of protocols are growing in maturity and demand and size. And so it's natural that these work token protocols, Livepeer, Graph, Polygon, they stake, but they can also have a liquid staking portion of this. So again, a sign of maturity in the market and in the token itself. Another part of growth that's going on really well is one of our flagship applications, Xenon. Big shout out to the guys at Xenon. They have been ruthlessly building some cool platforms. So this is the Xenon platform. I've been using it a lot. They're running a lot of interesting competitions on the application, and they are responsible for being one of the other large broadcasters on the network that is chewing up demand. They have people that are live, that are viewing streams. They have total content creation area where you can upload videos. It's even built right into Lens protocol. So, if you have Lens followers, you can directly reach out and show them your live stream all powered by the Livepeer protocol. It's a very cool app. You got your streaming dashboard, content manager, and yeah, it's a very cool thing. Go check out xenon.xyz, join the Telegram. Well worth checking out this app. It's developed a long way, and I'm really glad to see it. They're also an orchestrator on the network, which is really, really cool. Another item around growth is some performance tooling that we have implemented as a community. So big shout out to Ad Astra, Elite Encoder, Papa Bear. These are orchestrators who have gotten together and put in a lot of effort to increase the reliability and performance of the Livepeer network. So if you can imagine, you're competing with companies like Amazon, companies like Google. So Amazon is charging $3 an hour for video. Google is charging $8.10 an hour for video. And what they provide is high quality, high uptime, fast transcoding of video, whether it's video on demand, live stream. The idea is you don't even know what's happening in the background when you're watching a video. When you're watching this video, where is it transcoded? How is it being handled? What codec is it using? What compression rates? All these types of things most users don't know. They don't follow it. And that's exactly what makes it such a great system. And so what we want to do at Livepeer is make sure we are up to those standards, or at least beyond it, right? So we want to be able to provide high performance, high uptime, all these kind of things. So here's a really cool Livepeer test broadcaster little interface that Ad Astra has built. And we can see like varies and numers. He's got 0 dropped frames, 0 dropped streams in all of his transcoding. We can see we have a lot of people that have this. So the red one is one that's dropped, and then the white, the green and the orange are the ones that are properly selected. So you can see it takes a few minutes to load. Just updating right now while I'm doing this video, of course. But you can see we have lots of people here with just green and orange, which is excellent, and no reds. So this means that we have, you can almost picture one of these orchestrators as a standalone company, like an Amazon or like a Google or like a pool, right? Like Titan Node Pool. And we have tons and tons of these nodes all performing exceptionally well, right? So no switched frames, no dropped frames, no missing of opportunities to provide a really good service. And what's interesting is we have a couple people here that are not transcoding, right? So these are whales that are not actually doing anything in the network. And they just swap to people that are doing the work, right? And it's done within 200 milliseconds of finding out that they're not doing the work properly. So it's really cool to see this type of performance throughout the network and seeing a lot of high-performing orchestrators come into the network. So if you wanted to come join a pool, come check it out. You can check out 3 pools that are in Livepeer currently: Live Pool, Titan Node Pool, and Video Miner. So yeah, just some extra growth, extra maturity in the ecosystem for providing reliability and performance. The last topic I want to talk about is obviously Titan Node Pool. If you are in the pool, thank you so much for joining us and being a part of the movement. There are 2 new tabs that have been added this year. So obviously we have the interface where we can view all the transcoders that are currently active, but we have its NFT portion. So the NFT, I should have maybe named this achievements, but figured NFTs was a little more trendy. The NFT is an achievement leaderboard. So every time you hit some sort of milestone, you are awarded an NFT. We can view all the NFTs here. You know, Marathon Miner, which is like 30 days of consecutive uptime, or 1,000 hours of transcoded video. You receive this NFT on OpenSea, and you get to kind of show off to your friends, and it provides a bit of marketing for the pool as well. You can display this NFT in your collection. So this is very cool, and you can see all the people that have achieved their NFTs. Currently we have 9, and the leader is Papa Bear and Bob with 5 out of 9 complete. Oh, sorry, EXXX is also here in 3rd place. So congratulations on your leading of the leaderboard. The last thing I wanted to talk about also is the profit calculator. We've had this question many, many times, which is, how much can I earn in Livepeer? And so we created a little profit calculator. You throw in the current variables. So if ETH is currently $1,800, not 18,000, but it might be one day. Livepeer price is currently $4.20. And your max sessions, you can easily click on this link. It will show you the card that you own, right? So for instance, if you have a 3080, you could do about 23 streams, and you can easily plop that right in here. And the cost of your kilowatt hour, which in my location, it's about 12 cents. And as you can see, it can spit out some estimates right there. Profits per day is about $4.54 and about $136.29 per month profit. And as you can see, very low expense per month. Transcoding actually uses very little power, so it can be very, very useful to have this on an idle gaming PC, an idle workbench, just anything that is not being used. We can utilize that unused power. So yeah, there's some advanced settings down here. It's quite interesting. And that is my update. I wanted to share this video. Again, I haven't done one of these in a while. Please like, subscribe, follow me on Lens, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.